Hey everybody, I am Toya Bodie, the executive chef at Deliciousness Catering, and I am going to present to you today a fabulous, simple New Orleans favorite recipe for pralines. And it's going to be very simple. I don't want anybody to get intimidated by making candy because it is kind of, tricky sometimes. But we're going to do a method that I have accrued over time, and it's going to be without a thermometer, and it's going to be without a softball test. So we're going to go straight into the ingredients. I have 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I have 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. And I have a cup and a half of white sugar, and I also have a cup and a half of chopped pecans, and some of them are almost half because I want that texture difference. But anyway, I have a half a cup of evaporated milk, not whole milk, though you can use whole milk, but evaporated milk gives that good creamy New Orleans flavor. And I also have extract. Instead of adding vanilla today, I'm going to add caramel just for a little pizzazz. Now on to the tools. You will need a wooden spoon. You can use a metal spoon if you like, but I just prefer to use a wooden spoon because that's what I'm comfortable with. 2-quart pot. And also parchment paper. This is an important factor of the praline making because you don't want to use wax paper, but if you do use wax paper, you have to line the bottom of line underneath the paper with newspaper, so none of the residue from the wax on the paper will come onto your countertop or island if you have one. So parchment paper allows everything to come up very easily with no mess, very easy cleanup. So now we're going to get on to the method, and we're going to go over to the stove. Alright, so now we're going to empty everything into the pot except for the extract. I'm going to put the butter in the pot, the milk, the sugars. Now, let me explain a little bit about this process. So the thing that's so different about this is that I found that using the thermometer and trying the other conventional methods that I knew about, the softball test, sometimes would fail me because, I just wasn't really comfortable with the whole idea of candy making. Because it's really the tips that you need that really carries over to making a really good candy. And knowing one thing, that regular boiling for candy is not the same as you see with water. It's bubbles, right? With this, we want to get it to a nice volcanic boil where it's going blub, 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 blub. So it's like that. So that's exactly what we need to happen with this. The first boils is fine. It's a little bit of a party in the pot. There's actually 2 boils that happen before we get to the boil that we're looking for. The first boil is really quick. It's nice bubbles all over the pot. The second boil is kind of quick and explosive. A little bit of some time it'll pop out the pot. That's fine. But soon as that nice thick frothy, it almost looks like caramel clouds. That's what it starts to look like. As soon as that begins to come, we turn it down to medium, and then we cook it for only 3 minutes exactly. Okay, so only 3 minutes exactly. That's how long we'll be cooking the candy and, well, the sugars. And the reason why we want to cook it for that amount of time, because we want to take this sugar and drag it to a syrup and then pull it right back down to a sugar again and make it candy. Okay, so I'll see you right at that boil that I'm looking for. Alright, so now it's at the point where we want it. You see the way it looks? It's a nice volcanic type boil, and that's what you're looking for. Now you move it down to medium. Set the timer for 3 minutes, and then you let that cook for 3 minutes, and you don't have to worry about stirring. And if you get nervous, you can swipe your spoon around the bottom of the pot to make sure nothing is sticking, but you'll be fine, I promise. So you let this keep going for 3 minutes, and then after that, the next crucial tip comes, and that's the stirring. So as soon as this finishes, we'll get on to the stirring, and then you'll see exactly how easy candy making really is. Alright, so now that we've taken it off the stove after the 3 minutes is up, it's nice and creamy, exactly where you want it, but it's not done yet. So this is the point where you would normally do a softball test, but this is my method that I've accrued over time of talking to different candy makers and stuff. So now we're going to continuously stir the pot because you're not stirring it to mix it. You're stirring it to actually incorporate cool air into the pot to get the candy to get back down from that syrup level to a sugar level. So now we're going to keep stirring it. And the time amount that you can say, I know you would think that, well, how long would you stir it for? How do you know? Okay, well, this is how you know. You take it, and then when it's time, you're going to hear a nice scrape on the side of the pot. You're going to be able to hear it when it's time. So you keep stirring it, and this is the point where you add the extract. You add about a teaspoon of the extract into the pot. And the reason why you don't add it in too earlier, because you don't want it to really cook out or anything like that with all that high heat. And you want the fragrance to be really potent in there and the flavor to be present. So now we're going to keep stirring it. I can smell the good caramel. This is also the point, the stirring process, when you could add chocolate to it. If you want to add coconut, anything, different flavors. You can also add regular baker's chocolate and then add mint extract, and then it can have a really, really good flavor as well. So now let's see. All right, it's almost there, and it's nice and creamy. I'm gonna let you see it in just a moment. And it's just this simple. No thermometer, nothing like that. We're just going to keep it rolling and keep it stirring until it's time. And if the candy begins to harden in the pot, what you can do is take a cap full of milk, just a cap, and then pour it into the pot. It won't change the flavor or anything like that, but it'll bring it back to this really creamy consistency that I have right now. So now that it's getting really, really thick, let's see. Okay, so now the scrape that you're going to hear on the side of the pot is really the candy getting hard on the side of the pot. So now this is what it's supposed to look like. See, it's nice and thick, exactly the way you want it. Now you can do smaller pieces if you like, smaller candies. I prefer to do nice medium-sized ones, so people won't go back to the pan over and over again to get new ones. But you can definitely make these really good Christmas gifts. They don't take time to settle, like Christmas gifts for staff, employees. If you want to send some out with Christmas cards or anything like that, it would be a great idea. Since we're using caramel, a nice idea would be to take coarse salt and put coarse salt on top of it to give it a nice salted caramel kind of feel. In just a few moments after this candy settles, I'm going to show you another trick that you can do with this candy that'll make a delicious dessert. Okay, so here's a quick bonus tip. If you want to do something else with the praline mixture, you can also make it up like normal, right? Take a pan of brownies, which I already have prepared. Take a pan of brownies, and instead of spooning it on the parchment paper, you can directly put it on top of the brownies. And it can cool and form praline brownies. Now it's very delicious once it cools. You can choose to heat it up if you like a little bit afterwards. Maybe serve it with some ice cream if you like. But we're gonna smear this around on top of the brownie mixture. Here we go. Put this over here. Now this is where it gets really tricky. Mix it up. Get it on top. You want a good layer over the pan. This on top, because this is going to dry and be nice, good, gooey candy. And when we come back, the next scene, you'll see exactly what it looks like once it's finished. Okay, so now that we've finished both the pralines and we've also finished the praline brownies too. So they're very delicious. I hope you try them. I hope you try the praline recipe as well. Switch it up a little bit. Add a few different extracts if you like. Maybe dip a few in chocolate. Who knows? I don't know. Have some fun with it. But I want to thank you for stopping by to Delamaz Catering at youtube.com. And again, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, Toya Bodie on Instagram. You can also find me on Twitter as well. Toya Bodie, B-O-U-D-Y. And thank you for stopping by. See you next time.